Hi, my name is Megan. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I love to sew my own clothes. It has been a really long time since I filmed a video, more than a year, and so I think I might have forgotten to do this, but I'm gonna do my best. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for sticking with me as I took what was a much longer than I expected break from creating videos. I actually took a much longer than expected break from sewing in general, but I'm really excited today to have two projects to show you and a bit of a summary of the really exciting Frocktails event that I got to attend last month. So first of all, I'm going to start with what I'm wearing. So one of the projects that I made earlier this year, I think I actually made it back in March or April this spring, was this jacket. So this is the Smitten crop jacket from Pattern Emporium, and I made it in rayon. Satin is what the fabric is called. I think satin must refer to the weave of the fabric, but this rayon fabric from Rick Rack Textiles. Unfortunately, it's now out of stock because it's been so long since I bought the fabric, but I love this. This is a cropped jacket with like a bishop sleeve on it. It hits me right at the natural waist. There's a couple different options with the pattern, but I made this summer and I wore it to, I had to speak at a conference and I wore it for a speaking engagement. I wore it to another conference I attended. I got a new job, and that's why, one of the reasons why I haven't posted videos in such a long time. But anyway, I've been out and I really wanted to make something that made me feel fantastic and confident, and what better use of the skills of making my own clothes than that. So this jacket is a perfect like third layer. I wear it often just over a black tank top or a black blouse or a white one, or there's tons of colors in it, so I can wear it with pretty much anything, and dress pants or over a skirt or over a maxi dress or with jeans, just to sort of add an extra little bit of something when I'm not feeling super great and I want to look fantastic. But I totally would recommend this jacket. I think, so I made the version that has an elasticated waist channel, and my elastic insertion was a little bit sloppy, I'll be honest. I have more gathering on one side than the other, and it's sewed in place in the back, so I'm limited to like how much I can adjust those gathers. Oh, I have my notes. It's been a while. I'm limited in how much I can adjust the placement sort of the cinching and the gathers in the waistband. So there is an option for a non-elasticated waist, and what I think would be awesome if you're headed into fall in the Northern Hemisphere would be doing one of these jackets in like a lightweight, like a pinwheel corduroy would be amazing, or a flannel, and just adding, those crop jackets are super trendy right now. I see them everywhere. It's sort of like an elevated option of the shacket or a slightly different style line. So if I was going to make another one, that's what I would do, is I would make one with just a straight sleeve with the cuff, no elastic in the waist, maybe slightly longer than this one because I really wanted that nipped in natural waistline on this jacket, out of a flannel or something cozy. You could even use like a wool suiting would be kind of interesting, or like a boucle tweed or something like that, and just play with it looking, you know, depending on which fabric I picked, it could look more like classically professional and polished, or more casual and sort of outdoorsy, just depending on the fabric you pick. But this was a top-notch pattern. I loved sewing it. I took a day off, so I must have made it in April because I think I took the day off for my birthday. Sewed it in the day. It's got some nice, interesting, chewy pieces to it, like the collar. There's seamed panels in the front, so you can play with top stitching if you wanted to use like a contrasting thread. It was really enjoyable to sew, but not too complicated that it was something that was intimidating. So absolutely would recommend making this one. I made the straight size 20 based on my upper bust measurement. I did not grade out for my waist or hips. I'm quite pleased with the fit of it. I think that, you know, I might consider grading out a size, so sort of through the body and to the waist, if I didn't want that sort of shape of this jacket, but overall was thrilled with the Pattern Emporium Smitten cropped jacket. The other pattern that I made recently was the Upton dress from Cashmerette. So this is like a classic, I would say, for the sewing community, especially for the plus size sewing community of women who like to dress in sort of that feminine style or are looking for a dress pattern. The Upton is the standard. Like, it is the tried and true. It's the one that is recommended heavily across the board for anybody who has a bust and is looking for that fit and flare shape. And now I understand why. So I've always had the Upton on my list of projects to try, but honestly, it's not that exciting. Like, it's a fit and flare dress. You've got a choice of a darted bodice or princess seamed. There's 2 different skirts, well, 3, I guess, if you're part of the Cashmerette club, but there's a pleated skirt, a gored skirt, and then they did make a circle skirt option. So it's a really great basic. Like, it's a good building block that you can experiment with trickier fabrics, or, you know, you can use cotton with it, so you could make seasonal, like holiday, if you wanted to make yourself a Groundhog Day dress out of quilting cotton. I'm sure you could find some groundhog quilted cotton for February, or like whatever you wanted to do. So, and it's a beloved pattern, but I never found it to be all that exciting. Like, I thought, you know, it's a good basic, but I want to sew something that's a little bit more than basic, and something that's got interesting, something chewy, and some details. But really, when it came down to it, what I needed was a dress that was going to fit me well, that I was comfortable in, that I felt like confident and appropriately dressy, because we had our very first Frocktails event in Calgary this fall. So in my quest for finding what I was going to wear to Frocktails, I tried out a number of different patterns. I didn't really have a vision in my mind about what I wanted to wear. One of the challenges there was that September 9th was the day of Frocktails, and September in Calgary, it can be like 30 degrees Celsius above, or it could be snowing and like -10. And sometimes even in the same weekend. So I really didn't know whether I was sewing for summer or was I sewing for winter. And I wanted to look great, and I wanted to show off, you know, beautiful fabric with a room full of people that I thought would really appreciate it. And so I dithered a little bit. So I tried out a bunch of different bodices for a bunch of different patterns. None of them were quite right. It was almost like a Goldilocks situation, where one was, you know, too big and one was too small, and one I didn't have the right fabric, and one didn't quite seem to be dressy enough. And then ultimately, the week before the event, on Sunday, I sent the pattern out to get printed, the Upton. I bought the fabric that day at Fabricland. Monday, the pattern arrived, because so YYC, she's so fast. The mail service can be really great sometimes when it works. So I had the patterns, I cut it out on Tuesday, and I whipped it together, I think like Wednesday night, Thursday, and it worked. I had done a test of the bodice just to make sure I had the fit right while I was waiting for like the time to pull everything together. But I put this Cashmerette Upton together in less than a week, and I was thrilled with it. So I made mine. I don't have very many photos, because part of the thing about getting out of practice and out of rhythm of making content is I got out of rhythm of making content. So I used to have a really good, like, I'd make a garment, and then I would take pictures of myself in the garment, and then I'd film a video about the garment. And I just, like, I have very few photos of anything anymore. But anyway, so I have a couple pictures of myself wearing the dress, and so I beg your forgiveness about that, but I do have the dress here with me. I have worn it since, so I had to pull this out of the laundry pile, and I intend to wear it again next week to another event. But so I just made the Upton. It's out of this like pretty groovy, not quite paisley floral print. It has it has a black background. The color correction here isn't great. It's got a black background, but then when I put it against some of my other black garments, it looks navy. When I put it against my navy garments, it definitely looks black. But the ladies at Fabricland and I had a good long look at it, trying to decide if it was black or navy. We decided it was black. But anyway, so this is a rayon. You can buy it online at Fabricville. You can buy it at Fabricland. It's going to go on sale, 50% off, so it's not super expensive. But I just wanted something that had a bit of a 70s vibe, which is kind of what I was looking at, you know, sort of 70s does 90s does 2023, I guess. I like the slightly, midi length skirt. The gourd I thought has a nice shape to it. I wanted to do a square neckline. And then I did the elbow length flutter sleeves, and I'm thrilled. Like, I just think there is a reason why this pattern is so popular, and it's because it's beautiful and it fit. And it's so easy to adjust if you need to make fitting adjustments, because the Cashmerette patterns, like, they're so well drafted, in my opinion. And yeah, they're basic, but that makes it really easy to get a really great fit. And then from there, you can play with it and hack it and add all kinds of things to it. So I'm a total convert. I love this pattern. I'm obsessed. I've worn it. We went to go see a musical. So we saw Ain't Too Proud, which is about the Temptations. We go with friends, went out for dinner, wore the dress. It was comfortable, felt great. I have to go to an awards dinner next week. I'm probably going to wear this because I know I can throw it in my suitcase and shake it out when I get to the hotel, press it. It's going to look awesome. And what made it even better was I was able to make the dress with no zipper. So I don't have any problems inserting zippers. I think that they're fun to do, but sometimes you just want something fast. And so I had read a blog post that Cashmerette had done about omitting the zipper, made construction even faster to put the dress together because you make the shell and the lining and then you put them together, and that's that. I was able to do that because of my waist measurement and my bust is larger than my waist, but not so much so that I couldn't get it over my head. And so, yeah, it was super easy to put together. I totally have plans to make another one. I'm going to use this fabric. I'm going to use this fabric from Rick Rack also, which is the local fabric store in Calgary. And they do have online shopping if you're in Canada or I guess anywhere in the world, but just it's convenient. This one is all my favorite colors. Actually, when I was in the store, one of the team members that was working said that they saw this and they thought of me because it's colors that they often see me wear, which is true. So I'm going to make another one because I think that this is also a rayon, but it's got slightly, this one, it almost feels a little bit silky, like it's got a really nice hand to it. This rayon is just like a tiny bit crisper. So I think it's going to be great for workwear because I can throw on a blazer with it or whatever. I might do the flutter sleeve, or I might do a sleeveless one because then I can wear it with sweaters or blazers or jackets or whatever. But loving the Upton. The other fun thing I did with this dress was I did a rolled hem on the sleeve. So I made the elbow length flutter sleeve, and I just used my serger to roll the hem of those sleeves because it's so fast. Can you see that? It's so fast. It's super satisfying. It gives a little bit of ruffle to it, that movement. So I left kind of the differential feed where it was so that the fabric would not quite like a lettuce edge, but just a little bit of sort of that curve. And it gave it a really beautiful shape to the sleeve. So I was pretty excited about that. Plus it's so fast. Like hemming a sleeve is not my favorite thing. Hemming a flutter sleeve even less so, because you don't want so much of a bulky hem allowance that it's going to stick out funny. This way it just like it's a really easy finish, and a rolled hem on your serger is a snap to do. So anyway, so I wanted to make a dress that was going to be suitably appropriate to go to Calgary Frocktails because I knew I was going to meet some of the other sewing community in Calgary that I've interacted with online. I was going with my friend and we were so excited to have a night out, and I just wanted to look and feel great, and I did. So we had a Frocktails event in Calgary. It was at one of the hotels here. They rented a ballroom, and I got to meet Janine from Calgary Sews, and we had a great conversation. And I also got to talk to I think the event sold out. They had about 80 people, 80 other sewists. So as we all know, often we come online looking for sewing communities because we don't know anybody in person to talk to about all this stuff. And that's why I started a YouTube channel in the first place, and why I love watching sewing YouTube, because it feels a little bit like having a conversation with good friends about this thing that we all love, that either we love to do or we love to watch other people do or we're curious about. And so getting to meet in a room a bunch of sewists who were local enough to come to Calgary for this event. So there were some people who came in from BC, from Kamloops, and from sort of Nelson area or Castlegar, like in BC, other cities. There was a group from Edmonton that came down. I'm sure there are people who came from out of town, local enough that you could talk about the same fabric stores and the same patterns and like what it's like sewing for your specific climate and the challenges there. It was just a blast. Like, I had an awesome time. I met so many incredible people. I really hope there's another Frocktails event next year. I'm going to try to go to some of the Calgary Sews meetups. They have a monthly group where they do all kinds of really cool things. Like, they've had a pattern swap and they have talks about fitting, and they've done other projects. I would love to attend some of those. So I'll try to put as much information as I can in the description box. Again, I'm out of practice, so hopefully they haven't moved how to do that editing in the year that I've been away from creating videos, but I'll do my best. It was just awesome. So I would totally encourage you to look for an in-person sewing event if you're up for that in your community or your area. And if there isn't one, think about starting one. I just had such a great time. It was great to meet Janine. Everyone looked incredible. And there's just something magical about spending the night with like a group of people who you have something in common with, that you already have a built-in conversation starter. The other cool thing was my friend Robin and I, we booked a hotel room at a different hotel, unfortunately, and we spent the night overnight. So we're both moms, we have little kids. Neither of us really wanted to deal with the hassle of going to this party and then having to get up and do the whole like parenting routine on Sunday morning. So we decided to just stay and make a weekend of it. So we went out for dinner and we like stayed up too late and had like a slumber party. It was amazing. It was so much fun. We had like truly a great weekend. I was glad to have an opportunity to connect with people and a reason to make another video. So I promised some of the people that I met at Frocktails that I would do a video about it. And so I did. So it was awesome. Anyway, I'm not going to make any promises about when my next video will be out. Like I said earlier, I got a new job a year ago. It is a significant step up in responsibility and seniority. I lead a team. We've done a ton of work in the past year. I've had to travel for work, which was unexpected. It's just a very different lifestyle than I had. I was in my last job for 10 years. It was amazing. Plus I started making videos during the pandemic when we were working from home all the time. It was just easier to squeeze in some filming or some photography at home during daylight hours when I was working from home. And honestly, like getting dressed to do a video was often the reason I got dressed at all. Instead of just working in my pajamas, which for me was a huge mental health boost and something I really needed. But now I get dressed in boring work clothes to go to work, and I've lost a lot of the inspiration. And so that's kind of sucky. And I didn't want to come on and make a video complaining about sort of where did my sojo go and where did my time go, and I can't fill it all in, I can't balance it. So I just didn't. But that's sort of where I've been, is I haven't done a ton of sewing. I'm still teaching classes in Calgary every once in a while, not as often as I was last spring. Oh, there's a horn, sorry. I'm still teaching classes every once in a while, not as often as I did last spring, but I am still teaching. So I'm still doing some sewing. I'm still watching your content. I might not comment as often as I used to because I'll often watch it while I'm doing something else, like making dinner or, you know, in the car, I listen to podcasts. But I've really missed the freedom to create and to play both at the machine and then, you know, online. So if you've stuck with me, thank you so much. If you reached out to me during the last year, it meant so much to me. Sometimes I responded and sometimes I just couldn't based on like the volume of things going on in my life, but I really do appreciate it. The last year was awesome and it was hard. There were lots of hard things that happened last year. But I'm back now in front of the camera, and hopefully, like I always think the first time is the hardest when you're coming back to something. So hopefully I'll find a new rhythm and I'll be able to make that work. But thanks for watching, and I hope I will see you again soon.